Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here, welcome, hi. But welcome to my June TBR videos. I haven't done a TBR video for May because I simply did not have time. So I apologize if you were waiting for that video, but it doesn't exist. So if you're new here, here's what we do. So I have my TBR jar, which contains all of the books on my bookshelf that I haven't read. I have to admit though, I think it's a little bit, it's not updated. So I am planning on making a new jar, just I didn't have time to do it before the video. But for today it's gonna be fine. I don't think it's that bad. Like I think it's like up to date to a reasonable amount. I just think there's like maybe a few books that aren't in here, but it's okay. So what we do is I'm gonna pick out 10 books out of this jar, and that is going to be my June TBR. I'm gonna try and read as much as I can in that pile during the month of June, and I just think it's fun to leave it up to fate for my little TBR pile for the month. It is Pride Month in June, so even if my jar doesn't pick out like Pride books, I am planning on reading Pride books because why not? So I think that's it for the intro. That's kind of quick. Usually I talk and I talk and I talk, but today we are not. I don't know if you can hear it, but there are kids playing outside and there's music playing, so you might be able to hear this. I hope not, but you know, maybe. But it's okay because they're having fun and it's really sunny and warm outside. So today I'm actually gonna, usually I put all my little papers in my book tray, but it's already a mess and I don't want to like disorganize it more. So I'm just gonna use a bowl for today, and we're gonna dump this in the bowl and get started. Empty. And let's pick out 10 books. I do 10 books even though I'm probably not gonna read 10 books because it just gives me a bigger variety of genre and authors more than like if I would just do 5 books. So let's get started and pick our first book. All right, one of them fell out. I'm gonna take this as a sign. Yay, 2 wrongs make a right. I was hoping to read this soon actually, so I'm really happy about that. So this is Chloe Liez, I don't know, is her book. She has a lot of books, but I feel like this one I see a lot more. It's her traditionally published one, if I'm like not mistaken. I have, they're called Only When It's Us. I have that one, but I think those ones are indie books, but I think they're being made into traditionally published books. This is the one that I see in the bookstore, the only one that I see in the bookstore, and the whole cover just like gives me very fall vibes, but I don't care. I'm gonna read it in the summer because I've been really wanted to read this book, and I just hear amazing things about the author, so I'm excited. Opposites become allies to fool their matchmaking friends in this swoony reimagining of Shakespeare's beloved comedy Much Ado About Nothing. I've actually never heard about that. I feel like I've read the synopsis of this before, and it's like a fake date thing for sure. Their friends tricked them into going on a date, and then they realized they were like, let's give them what they want for like revenge, so they fake date, and then they break up spectacularly and dash everybody's hopes, putting an end to the matchmaking madness once and for all. That seems so fun actually, and I'm so excited. And look at this cover, it's just beautiful. I'm a sucker for amazing covers, so yeah. And again, I hear amazing things about the author, but I also hear amazing things about this book. I see it everywhere, so I'm really happy to have it on my June TBR. Also, I usually put my TBRs on this cart, but it's such a mess. I don't know where I'm gonna put my June TBR this month. I don't know. I will have to figure that out. Let's do book number 2. They keep falling out. Let's just do the one that fell out then. The Way of Kings. Okay. The Way of Kings. I know there's no way I'm gonna be reading that because 1, I need to be in I could start it. I need to be in like a specific mood to read fantasy, and I need to be in an even more specific mood to read a thick book. And this book is 1,000 pages. So we have The Way of Kings. Will I be reading this month? I have no idea, but look, I'll put it on my shelf and we'll see. We don't know. I have like, I'm not working my summer job until the end of June, so I have a lot of time on my hands. I mean, there's a cool map. Like, maybe this could be a book that like I read over a few months, but I kind of feel like I would need to read his Miss Bourne's trilogy first, because I've heard it's easier to read. So I don't know, I'll put it on my pile because the bull has spoken. But you know, I don't have high hopes that I'm gonna read this. I do want to get into like his books. I do want to read them. It's just like, I don't know, maybe I would read this when I'm like done with my Goodreads challenge, because this would probably take me a long time to read, and I would be like not wasting my time because I'm sure it's a good book, but like I would be taking time away from shorter books that I'm like, I know I'm gonna enjoy. So I don't know, I'm just rambling right now, and this is kind of heavy, but let's put it on my shelf. Maybe this is the motivation I need to read the Miss Bourne series. I don't know. There's also his new like cozy fantasy book that came out. Maybe I'm gonna read that. I don't know. This is on the TBR shelf, and it has a nice floppiness though. Yeah, maybe June is the month that I become a fantasy girly. I don't know. Probably not, but who knows? Okay. Let's keep it going. Must Love Books. That book has been on my TBR a few times. I just don't like get a chance to get to it, but I do want to read it, so like I'm happy it's here. Okay, let's grab it. So this is a literary fiction book. It's not a romance. I thought it was a romance just by the cover when I bought it, but then I read the synopsis. I'm like, maybe not. And it seems to be like about this woman works in like the book world editorial assistant position, and then I think she like loses her job, or I don't know. There's stuff that goes on. Like, it's not easy. I think this deals a bit with depression as well. And then there's Andrew Santos, a best-selling Parson author no one can afford to lose, is thrown into the mix. Nora has to decide where her loyalties lie, her new dream jobs, ever-optimistic Andrew, or herself and her future. It sounds interesting, and I kind of want to go into this without knowing much more. I do really like the cover of this. It's really cute, but I just know that the cover is deceiving because it's going to deal with much more than just like books and working in the book world. And honestly, I think this is like the third time this book has been on my TBR. Third time's a charm that maybe I'll finally read it. But like I said, I've been into literary fiction books, like more like deep and like meaningful stories for adults, and this is perfect. I think I do know that I need to check trigger warnings for this because somebody said that. Book number 4. This is so fun. I'm so sad I wasn't able to do it in May. Buy the books. Buy the book. Yeah, this I'm excited for. I keep looking at it on my shelf and I'm like, I think I want to read you soon. It's this book, By the Book. I think this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it's rather short. It's not even 300 pages. Oh wait, there's a bookmark in here. I guess I wanted to start it, but I never did. Okay, so this, like I said, it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Sometimes to truly know a person, you have to read between the lines. And it's also a story about being in the publishing world. So when she overhears her boss complaining about a beastly, high-profile author, and her name's Isabel, so like Isabel, like Belle, and then a beastly, you know, I like this. All she has to do is go to the author's Santa Barbara mansion and give him a pep talk or 3. How hard could it be? But Izzy quickly finds out she's in over her head. Bo Towers is not some celebrity lightweight writing a tell-all memoir. He is jaded and withdrawn, and it turns out just as lost as Izzy. They soon discover they have more in common than either of them expected, and as their deadline nears, Izzy and Bo begin to realize there may be something there that wasn't there before, which is a lyric from the song. But yeah, so I'm excited about this one. Really short, so like, that's good. I'm a little bit behind on my Goodreads challenge, so I'm glad to have a short book on this because we have The Way of Kings in here. Yeah, book number 4. Yes, book number 4. A Deal with the Elf King. Oh, that's exciting. A fantasy book, fantasy romance book, I think, that is not 1,000 pages long. So this, I think, is an indie book. I might be wrong. It's just I don't see it at my local bookstore. On my chapters. Usually when I don't see it on my like Indigo chapters, it means that like it's indie, but like I could be wrong. I don't know. The elves come for 2 things: war and wives. In both cases, they come for death. Interesting. 3,000 years ago, humans were hunted by powerful races with wild magic until the treaty was formed. Now, for centuries, the elves have taken a young woman from Luella's village to be their human queen. To be chosen is seen as a mark of death by the townsfolk. A mark 19-year-old Luella is grateful to have escaped as a girl. Instead, she's dedicated her life to studying herbology and becoming the town's only healer. That is, until the Elf King unexpectedly arrives for her. Everything Luella has thought she'd known about her life and herself was a lie. Taken to a land filled with wild magic, Luella is forced to be the new queen to a cold yet blisteringly handsome elf king. Once there, she learns about a dying world that only she can save. I'm intrigued! I have been on the lookout for like fantasy romance books, so I am happy about this. Also, she looks stunning and like badass, so, and also he looks kind of, you know, a dark elf kind of character. So yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I think this is at least a duology, because in here it says a deal with the Elf King and a dance with the Fey Prince. So it's at least a duology. I don't know if there's any more books out or coming out, but here's book number 5 on the TBR. I'm so glad about this. I'm really glad about this one. All right, now picking book number 6, Blood Like Magic, which is a YA book about magic, and it's supposedly really good. So here you go. Blood Like Magic, absolutely stunning. To save my family's magic, I must destroy my first love. I never wanted to be a killer, but I am a Thomas Witch. We suffer and we survive. This, I think it's going to be really good because one, it sounds intense just from that little, just from this, but also I heard it's really good. So I'm excited. There's also a sequel out right now. So I like it when a book, like when I start a book and the second book is already out. Oh my god, Canadian author. Ooh, that is pretty. There's nothing on it, but like the pink, you know I love pink. So this is Blood Like Magic, book number 6. I don't really want to know more about it, honestly. Like, I feel like that for fantasy books, I think. All right, so book number 7. Oh my gosh, I forgot I had that book. It's Twilight. I have never read Twilight. I've only seen the movies, and I don't mind the movies. Like, they're not too bad, but I just know that the books are like phenomenal compared to the movies. So yeah, let's grab that. I found it. It took me forever, but I found it. So Twilight. Probably don't know what this book's about because it's like wildly unpopular. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm kidding, by the way. Everybody knows Twilight. And I remember getting this copy about like 3 years ago, I think. This was $23 for a YA paperback. Yeah, I got this about 3 years ago, I think, or maybe 4, I don't know. Right when my obsession with Robert Pattinson started up again. I just needed Twilight to be able to read it and imagine Robert Pattinson as Edward, because he is Edward, but you know. So I'm excited to have it, to annotate it, to finally read Twilight. I've never read Twilight. I think I read it in French years ago, like middle school, but I don't think I've ever took it seriously. Like, I would just skim through the pages. So I'm now 24. Time to read Twilight, I guess. All right, so Twilight, book number 7. Sorry, book 7. I'm actually excited to read this. I feel like everybody's read this but me. Even my mom read this. Fortuna Sworn, which is another fantasy romance. That's great. I love it. So here's the thing. I've already read this and I don't remember a thing about it, but I remember liking it a lot. So I thought I was gonna reread it, but annotate it, because I wasn't annotating at the time that I read this. And I also have the second book, wherever that is. So, you know, perfect timing. I'm gonna hopefully read this, annotate it, and then I can jump into the second book because I have it. I've just been waiting to like re-pick it out of my TBR jar to be able to annotate it. It's like a little kid that just came up on my lawn. And I'm like right next to the window. I was just like talking about my book. Remember, this is like about fairies. Her brother disappeared 2 years ago, leaving her with no family or species to speak of. She hides among humans, spending her days working at a bar and her nights searching for him. The bleak pattern goes on until she catches the eye of a powerful fairy. He makes no attempt to hide that he desires Fortuna, and in exchange for her, he offers something irresistible. So Fortuna reluctantly leaves her safe existence behind to step back into a world of creatures and power. It soon becomes clear that she may not have bargained with her heart, but her very life. Interesting. I'm excited to have this back. Well, not back, but I'm excited to have it on my TBR so that I can read it again. And we have a lot of fantasy. I literally just said that I need to be in a very specific mood to want to read fantasy, and like my TBR is like, yep. Let's choose our 9th book. I keep losing count. Okay, so Darius the Great is not okay. I think that's a Pride book, an LGBT book. So that's great. It's Pride Month. This book has been on my shelf for the longest time. Like, there's even a bookmark in this. An old bookmark. Oh my gosh. Look at this. It's like waffles? You're better than waffles. I don't know. What is this from? This is a rather short book, actually. I don't even remember starting it, so I don't remember why I stopped. I do remember, like, I got it for a reason. I got it because it was popular when I got it. How many times am I gonna say I got it? But when I did get this book, like, it was really popular. I was really into a YA LGBT book mood. And then I kind of, like, stopped reading for, like, a year-ish because university was starting to be, like, a lot. And I didn't know how to, like, organize my time to have time to read. But anyways, long story short, this has been on my shelves for years, and I don't know, like, I never, like, unhauled it, so I do want to read it, and it's been on my shelves for so long, so I guess now is the time to read it. This deals with depression in a teen, which, I mean, the Darius the Great is not okay. That kind of, it's in the title. But I am excited for this. I feel like it's gonna be like a cute but like also like heartwarming, bittersweet story, and I love stories like that when they are YA. Book number 9. And finally, our last book on this June TBR is this one. The Boy with the Bookstore, a cute little romance, I think, about a bakery and a bookstore. It's actually not talked at all. I never see it. I just saw it at the bookstore and I could not stop thinking about it because I like the green of it and the fact that there's books and pastries on the cover. And Tessa Bailey actually said, prepare to smile, think, and above all swoon. Prepare to smile, think, and above all swoon. I read that wrong. Also, Amy Leah, who wrote Set on You, which I love that book. Everything you can want in romance, seamlessly combining two of my favorite things, books and baked goods. When a baker meets the bookshop owner of her dreams and he turns into her nemesis, they'll both have to read between the lines to avoid a career-ending recipe for disaster. Honestly, like, when it comes to cute romance with those, like, cute cartoon covers, I don't expect much. I'm really just expecting it to be like, first act, they meet, they don't like each other, but then there's like a little spark. Second act, there's more to that spark. They you know, they do the romance things. And then third act, there's like that annoying breakup, and then they get back together and everything's fine. So, you know, I don't expect much, but I know that, like, that's like a recipe of a book that I just love. So I am excited to read this. I actually almost picked it up a few days ago. So yeah, bookstore owner, baker, and I feel like they have to, like, work together so that they don't lose their jobs, and I don't know. Enemies to lovers, and they need to work together, I think. Sounds fun. Sounds like something that I love. So those are the 10 books that my TBR bowl chose for me to read in June. I will do my best to read, like, a bunch of them, as much as I can. I also have a book club that I'm hosting with my little sister called Two Sisters in a Book. And in the month of June, we are actually going to be reading this book. So if you want to join, the link is down below. And we have lots of fun. It's just a really cozy little book club, and we read books. Yes, we read books in a book club. That's how it works. If you've made it to the end of the video, comment down this emoji and I'll know who watched the whole thing and who, like, just stuck with me for, like, what, like 20 minutes? All the books are right here. I don't really feel like picking them up. But those are the books I'm gonna try and read in June. And I'm also obviously gonna read more LGBTQ plus books. I have a few in mind. For example, like I have You and I Rewritten, which is an indie book by Chip Pond, and it's like a work romance. I think I hear a lot of good things, and the cover is cute. Also, I have Never Been Kissed, which is about saving a drive-in, I think. And then I also have 2 Alice Oseman books, which honestly I haven't read their novels yet. I've only read the Heartstopper books. So, you know, I have these on my radar for the month of June. And I love that they're making new covers of these books. But I just love the OG, like colored books. On that note, thank you so much for watching. I have all of my socials linked down below if you want to check those out, just see what I'm doing during the week when I'm not on YouTube. And thank you for hanging out with me today. It's really sunny outside, and I could be outside reading instead, but I decided to do this. So thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!